I'm not even blaming the Prime Minister, because I think it would not be fair to say he didn't try. I could say that the Prime Minister tried, and I think conceptually Make in India was a good idea, but it's pretty clear that he failed, because manufacturing went from 15.3% of GDP to 12.6%. So the first question that any alternative vision would answer to the youngsters of our country is, okay, what and how are we going to solve this problem of employment? Any country basically organizes two things. You can organize consumption, and then you can organize production. Modern way of saying organizing consumption is services. Modern way of saying organizing production is manufacturing. But there is more to production than simply manufacturing. For example, agriculture also is about production. Now, pretty much every government since 1990 has done a decent job on consumption, on organizing consumption. Which are the companies that organize consumption? Uber organizes consumption. Reliance organizes consumption. Adani organizes consumption. But we have, as a country, failed in organizing production. We have excellent companies that try to organize production. They are the Mahindras of this world. They are the Bajajs of this world. Part of Tata's organizes production, but the record of the country on organizing production is dismal. And essentially what we have done is we have handed over the organization of production to the Chinese. So this mobile phone, even though we are saying we make this mobile phone in India, that is not a fact. This phone is not made in India. This phone is assembled in India. All the components of this phone are made in China. The network that has produced this phone is made in China, is owned by China. So every time we use a phone, every time we wear a Chinese shirt, a Bangladeshi shirt, every time we wear a pair of Chinese sneakers, we are paying a tax to China. Because some Chinese youngster is earning a salary to make or to produce that product. So the first message I would give in a presidential address would be that India has to focus completely on production. Because if we do not focus on production and we continue to focus only on consumption, we will find that we will run huge deficits, we will increase inequality, and eventually we will run into a serious problem. Social problem because of unemployment, which we are already facing. If you look at the numbers of the amount of people who are in jail, if you look at the numbers that are spent on internal security, if you look at the numbers spent on our police forces, they're all spiraling. They're all rising. And everybody understands that social tension is on the rise in India. So now the next question comes, okay, so where is this employment going to come from? What is India going to produce? And for that, I'd like to tell all the youngsters of this country that there is a revolution taking place, an exciting revolution. The world is transforming completely. And the change that is taking place, at the heart of the change that is taking place, we are moving from the world of the internal combustion engine to the world of the electric motor. We are moving from petrol to batteries. We are moving wind, solar, potentially nuclear energy. So our entire way of moving is changing. And this is going to change every single thing. It is going to change warfare. It is going to change medical treatment. It is going to change education. It is going to change how we eat. It is going to change everything. Every single piece of data that comes out of the production system in the world, the data that was used to make this phone, the data that is used to make electric cars, the data that is used to make basically all electronics on the planet today is owned by China. And the consumption data is owned by the United States. In China, the consumption data is owned by China, but in India, companies like Google, companies like Facebook, companies like Instagram, X, they own our consumption data. So if India wants to talk about AI, it has to first answer the question, what data is going to power that AI? And the answer today is India does not have that data. Neither does India have production data, neither does India have consumption data. We have handed our consumption data to the big American companies, and the production data we don't have anyway. So what would that vision look like? The first thing, we would start getting youngsters excited about this revolution. We would start to introduce the idea of a completely new way of moving, a complete revolution in how things move. We would start teaching our children in schools about batteries, about electric motors, about how these things combine, about how drones, robots, electric cars are structured, how they will work together.
तो सीरियस होना चाहिए लीडर ऑफ अपोजिशन को, कम से कम देश के मामले में तो एक हो, देश के मामले में तो एक वॉइस से बोलना चाहिए। ये गलत बात है, ये ठीक नहीं है। लीडर ऑफ अपोजिशन को इस तरह का बयानबाजी नहीं करना चाहिए। ये गंभीर विषय पर चर्चा चल रही है। इसका गौरव विषय है।
So we would start by telling our young men and women that they have to be at the forefront of this revolution. We cannot afford that the Chinese are at the forefront of this revolution. Number one. Number two, we would ensure that the absolute best experts on these technologies would talk to our students, would talk to our youngsters, and guide them on what a future, on what these future technologies are going to do. We would make them partners in this revolution. Now, we talk about defense. And today, we have the Chinese. And the Prime Minister has denied it. And the army has contradicted the Prime Minister. It's true. The Prime Minister has denied it. The Prime Minister has denied it. And the army has disagreed with the Prime Minister that China is sitting on 4,000 square kilometers of our land, of our territory.
ऐसा इस सदन में अब मन चाहे बात नहीं बोल सकते हैं। ये बिल्कुल ठीक नहीं है सर। ये सीरियस मामला है। आप फॉरेन पॉलिसी पे, बॉर्डर इश्यू पर आप अपना कैसे मजाक बात कर सकते हैं? अपना मन गढ़ंत कहानी आप बना के बोल रहे हैं।
The Prime Minister has denied that Chinese forces are inside our territory, but for some reason, our army keeps talking to the Chinese about their entry into our territory, and our Chief of Army Staff has said that the Chinese are inside our territory. This is a fact. This is not invention, this is a fact. Now, but the reason China is inside our territory is important. Because people think that wars are fought between armies and their weapons. But the fact of the matter is that wars are fought by industrial systems. Yeah. The fact of the matter is that China has an industrial system that is far stronger, far bigger than our industrial system. And that is why they have the guts to come inside this country. The reason China is sitting inside this country